Good morning, planetary kin of dreaming, magic, timelessness, enchantment, illusion, and I want to wrap it up in magic, but I've said that already. Blue planetary night. I'm so excited to come here to talk about this today. Even though the distractions are enormous and I'm having to pull all of my focal power into this moment. It's really, really challenging. January 1st, just to get a moment away to do this, is got a sulking 6-year-old sitting over there because I'm not playing with him right now. All is good. And the apartment is small, so to find a space that's quiet enough is another challenge. I'm looking at shoes, I'm sitting in a closet, I'm looking at a vacuum cleaner. Part of my family are just now discussing vacuum cleaners. So just as I was about to start opening the door, I need to look at this vacuum cleaner details and talk about it. I'm like, okay, there's a lock and the key. I'm locking myself in here. Together with a washing machine and the wish mops. Wish mop. In German, I think they're called wish mop. In English, they're called mops. I think it's a mop. It's a floor clean with water device. What a girl. It's all play, it's all magical. Blue planetary night. Dreaming. I had such a lovely connection with this kin yesterday, with today's energy. I realized even in my own life, dreaming, daydreaming, night dreaming, yeah, that's a really significant place in my life. But daydreaming, playing around imagination, like make believe. As an adult, if I really go into make believe as myself, then it's more something I should perhaps be worried about, because then it's more likely to be the illusions, the distortions of my own unhealed, or like my inner child that has misunderstood a few things and created a way to understand the world that may not be quite in accordance with reality. However, the way we see the world creates the world we see. And I do realize that we actually see, I would give it a really high percentage of what our mind, our imagination, our filter system interprets reality to be. If I just take how we dress, as anyone who puts on makeup, how we do that, how we do our hair, and why do we do that when we ourselves don't get to see our face or our hair unless we look in the mirror. So why do we do that? Why do we make ourselves up in some other way? Because we want to, sometimes I say we do that to present an image to the outside world, because we want to know, I want to know in my head what you see when you look at me. I mean, that to me is the ultimate blue monkey who is today's guide. It's like, I don't know what you see when you look at me. I may make myself up to look fantastic in my eyes, and maybe a lot of people say you look great. Is that enough for me to, who are these people that affirm that? Maybe another person looks at me and says, oh my gosh, you remind me of that aunt who was quite crazy, and it's like really a very negative association. Or something I have my own negative associations with, that I would never have wear my hair like X, whatever. And someone else, maybe someone I actually want to impress, I don't realize that to them, if I wore my hair like X, the way I myself don't like it, it would, for them, associate me, it is in them, with someone who they really love or loved or respected. So it would actually be really attractive. That's all in our minds. And it's very, difficult to validate, or we run on this social validation. When I go into shopping malls, clothing stores, if you go thrift shopping, you get one of each piece, and you have it's the individualists who go into the secondhand store. I think they look for something that's either cheap, yeah, sure, but often also like vintage or something they can combine in a certain way. If I go into H&M, it's like rows and rows of exactly identical clothing. So, and they're of a particular style. So even if they're changing seasonally, whatever, there's a certain fashion that we all agree upon, and certain things we just don't wear, or certain things it's just like, so there's like a normative fashion thing, and we feel comfortable in that, or at least a percentage of the population who runs with that feels comfortable, because if we don't even think about that, and in a way it makes life a little bit easier if we don't have to think about it, but we fall into the norm, bell-shaped curve, we're somewhere in the middle, we look like everyone else. Within that we can individualize a little bit, but we can be quite sure that we are, nobody's going to look at us and say, ooh, there's that auntie who wears this really weird clothes. It's not true, it happens to somebody, you know what I mean? It's like, it's all in our heads. Control issues. It's all in our minds, our imagination. I imagine that I look good, and then I imagine that that gathers some respect. I imagine that I talk smart, and I imagine that that gets me some respect. I might then filter proof of this imagination, but what comes first, chicken or egg? I love it. We have a little 2-year-old here. He's a 1.5 years old. You might hear him in the recording. And at that age, he doesn't care. He doesn't care what he looks like. He doesn't care if he's got his own food leftovers that had been in his mouth or didn't make it to his mouth, if it's all over his clothes. Nothing. He cares nothing. And what are we doing? We adore this child. All of us, we could just stare at this child like nonstop. So what happens? My gosh, what happens? I have a big answer to that. I recently watched a documentary about the Maya, and it was some documentary bits in there about where the filming was already color, and some researchers or someone went deep, 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 deep into the jungles and found, like, if you want to call them original Mayas, or they had been living in their indigenous way, like ever since whenever, whatever. And then they were comparing and whatever. And these people have that same innocence. Their faces are radiant. They're curious. They, you know, there's a a certain innocence and there's an aliveness there that we in the West, by and large, have long lost. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that. It's not the Blue Night. The Blue Night is dreaming, intuition, and planetary tone. Planetary tone 10. We've been here before. The last planetary tone, the tone for perfection, perfecting, producing, manifesting. So this is where the wave, the tone, out of 13 days, 13 tones of a wave spell. Tone 10 is where that the wave spell we're in this case the White Wizard, really, like, that's it's where it manifests, or where whatever we living, however we are embodying the archetype, that's the manifestation point. And it's very, very interesting. For the red dragon, It's the white dog. So that was the last wave spell. We've been through the first wave spell in the Tzolk'in. Manifesting, birthing, being, nurturing through the archetype of love, loyalty, heart. It seems so logical. Depending on how nurtured you've been and how nurtured you are, that determines how much love, community, loyalty, how your social behavior is going to be determined. What you manifest, what you perfect, what you produce. And we can perfect our hurt. If I've been very poorly nurtured in childhood, my planetary dog can be very challenging for the environment, and we can perfect that. We can become really good at being really grumpy if we don't look at the blue monkey at some point, who actually comes on day 11 in the nurturing being wave spell, the first wave spell. So the blue monkey, then a child who is today our guide, can help us break some of those rigid, some of the blocks to our love, where our heart got hurt, where our boundaries got hurt. Our healer, the healer for the dog, is in many ways the blue monkey, and vice versa, since they are also each other's occult medicine power. Today, Blue Knight in the Wizard Wave spell, the occult to the Blue Knight is the Yellow Warrior. Fearlessness, questioning, the warrior of light, bringing light and consciousness into our unconscious, if that's what we need. Blue Knight stands for dream time, the unconscious, the unseen, that which is in the dark. And as soon as we bring light, it's no longer in the dark. So respect to anything in the dark. I'm a great friend of going into certain dark spaces without a light. But that's, of course, a proverbial thing. What is that light? I mean, it's not a physical light, although it can be that too. But it's the light of consciousness, of awareness, the light of love, the light of courage, the light of compassion, the light of forgiveness, the light of curiosity, the light of whatever. And dreaming, our imagination, it also stands for intuition. I spoke at length about that connection between warrior and blue knight, I think on the warrior, the day we met the warrior. We've been to both already. And it's very interesting to draw the parallel in the first wave spell on being, nurturing our own primal being, who we are. We can take this fractal back to our entire life. The wave spell, our childhood of nurturance, our parenting, how we were parented, how is our base structured. In that wave spell, the blue knight is in position 3, electric. Very, very important. In childhood, the way you imagine things, your imagination is more active than in, like, especially under the age of 7, that whole not yet developed right brain, as Bruce Lipton says, until the age of 7 you're in pure download mode, because we're in our brains are in what? Let me not say the wrong thing here. Delta, theta, something that isn't beta, and it isn't alpha either. So as adults, we can consciously make use of that. As a child, you cannot consciously determine your own mind really easily. You are very much subject to what the environment programs into us. I think so. I speak under correction. But for most of us who are now adults, so now we sit here and, like, okay, we are the so-called finished product, but neuroplasticity tells us, oh my goodness, thank you. When I was a teenager or in my early 20s, they still believed when brain cells die, they don't get replaced, and certain things are fixed and they can't be changed, and we've changed that. Now we can ask ourselves, and this is again imagination, mind. I can decide, did we change it collectively? We changed the paradigm and now we're finding the proof? Or are the scientists who are discovering, oh, they were wrong back then? Based on what were they wrong anyway? It's like, it just, science, modern science is something to always be, in my books, they discredit themselves all of the time. Also because of this haughtiness, it's like, if they say today's standard of understanding, we believe it's like that. Some do that, many don't. This is like, now we know it works. We were wrong yesterday, today we're so right. And I was thinking like, oh gosh, yeah, until tomorrow comes. Whatever. And not the point of discussion today. I want to talk about the blue night. Dreaming, daydreaming. Daydreaming, our imagination feeds and fuels emotions, feelings. If I want to achieve something or manifest something, create something, white wizard, the magic of life, or my creative power, lunar eagle in this wave spell, it's a challenge. The mind, it's in a position of challenge and stabilization. So you do need that sharp mind to check out reality. You can't just be all, like, I don't know if you can't just be whatever, but there's balance between imagination, dreaming, also daydreaming. But daydreaming done, daydreaming, nobody who daydreams confuses their daydreams with reality. That's what happens to the monkey when he's not quite established. But you have to, again, who determines that reality? The way the monkey establishes him itself, that is the reality the monkey experiences. From another perspective, that monkey might live in an illusion or create his or her own illusions. I see that all the time. We can go as far as people with paranoia. That's like a really classic example of delusion. It can be really delusional. But illusions, we see what we want to see. There's like hardly anywhere where that does not apply. Maybe hardcore, this shoe is black and white. But as soon as, like, is it nice or is it not nice? Is it worn out or is it not worn out? Is it new and in good condition or not? Is it clean or is it not clean? It totally depends on your perspective. That's not dreaming. That's not illusion. That's not the blue eagle, but it's perspective. The perspective, and the perspective, it's mental, it's not in the physical. And we so often talk about the physical as if this is like an all agreed upon fact. And in our own lives, and it's not about in our own lives, if we can understand a lot of these facts aren't facts, they are our imagination. And how do we use that for our benefit? How do I use that? How do I use my own ability to dream? If I can daydream about something I'd like to achieve, I can do that to a degree where that is the superpower that I need to know how to use. It's a bit of a pity, I think, that we so often, I grew up in a world where daydreaming was not considered at all a good thing. I mean, it wasn't like considered a bad thing, but it was considered a wasteful thing. Stop dreaming, stop daydreaming. The world I grew up in didn't understand the value and the importance of that. So if as a kid you sit there, you're just staring out the window, staring into space, so important for the brain. Things happen in the mind when we go into that state, and as in childhood we often go there involuntarily. And we see a lot of children nowadays when they're around adults, they're constantly engaged by the adults, if the adults engage with them, on the beta brain level. I'm not sure one can say that about a child below the age of 7. I don't know if that's beta, but is not a very dreamy space. It's often a very another kind of space. And forget about school. I mean, there's not that much dream time in schools. And so to learn in your childhood should actually teach our kids like the power of your imagination. Imagine a thing till you feel it. And then that's actually already fulfillment enough. For me personally, very often, if I get to the place where I feel it, I don't actually need to have the experience anymore. So I ask myself, what experiences do I need to live a fulfilled life? And when we ask ourselves that, like, let's say, come up with 5 experiences, and then we can ask ourselves, are these 5 things really I want, or have I learned that I should want them? Or is there even an attachment of, if I have that, I'm going to look good to the world, or I'm going to be considered successful, or it's going to make me be something in the eyes of others? Because I don't know, but I grew up in a world where being ... in the eyes of others was so important. It's like the teaching to live your life in some way so that others can approve of it, so important. And today I would say, like, oh my goodness, that is such a prison. Of course we need social coherence. Of course we need to not all be rushing around the world in some narcissistic, egotistic mania, whatever, like me first and only me. I understand that. But that's to constantly correct myself or adjust myself automatically to the judgment of others, which I place into them. I'm telling myself, what is the judgment they're going to give me? Whatever. And for me personally, it's been a bit of a, not a struggle, but to maybe a struggle, free myself from that prison, to say, wait a minute, how do I feel? Does this suit me? Do I want to wear this? Because why do I want to wear the clothes that I choose to wear? Are they comfortable? Are they, what are they? Are they, based on what do I choose that? I don't know why I keep going on about that now. But there's a mirror involved in this day as well. Blue night. So I have to correct. I said the occult is the blue, is the yellow warrior. The yellow warrior is the analog. The occult medicine of the blue night is the white mirror. So that is just like, the antipode is the skywalker. So we can really make space for our dreams. Do we make space for our dreams? We need to make space for dream time in some or other way. If you can look around adults who don't dream anymore, it does something to us. Likewise, people who dream too much, there's a balance, whatever, This getting peace. Oh, I'm the wrong person to talk about that. Being real, whatever that means. I'm forever asking, like, what is real? Who sets the standard? What is success? So, and since we're living in this money-driven world, success is like, can you feed yourself as an adult? Can you house, clothe, and feed yourself? But how independent do we need to be? And in which culture do we live? I've lived in a culture where a woman at the age of 25 or 30 could hardly live alone, because even if she had a job, she could hardly afford her own place, depending on how, like, where was she working. But in Germany, for example, you can be a cashier and you can be living on your own, and you can afford a life completely independent. I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing, but you can. In many other countries, as a male or a female, as a cashier, you cannot afford rent and food and living by yourself based on a salary that you would earn as a cashier. So it's like, but that's like reality. And like, but in our own personal world, our ability to dream is a superpower. When we're still struggling in survival mode, dreaming can become a crutch. It can become not the way, cannot, if you don't use it, I want to say right, the ability to use your imagination with a focus. So the blue night comes around 13 times, right? 20 times, 13 times, 13 wave spells that have the blue night in it. Wait, yeah. And there are 5 different guides. It's quite interesting. Sometimes, like today, it's guided by the monkey. It's a different night to the one that's guided by the eagle. It's quite interesting that today is not guided by the eagle, but by the monkey in the wizard wave spell. So what does that mean? On the planetary tone, we have that combination. Tone 5 is also guided by the blue monkey. It'd be very interesting to see that as the wave of. I'm lazy to think now, and I don't have my other phone to check it up. I could think it up through now, but I just really don't want to go there because it's really veering me off into a tangent that I don't want to go there. It's not really necessary right now. The tone, the planetary tone, manifesting, perfecting our dream time with the guide of the monkey, the magician, and or the illusionist. It really is so, to me, that is so powerful. The wizard is the inner world that determines the outer world. And I'm right this minute struggling with the many perspectives I find myself taking. I find myself suddenly having a lot of voices here saying, but wait, it's like this from here, like this from there, like this from here, like this from there. These voices are saying, what you're saying does not apply if you come over here. And it doesn't apply, what either of you are saying doesn't apply if you come over here. So I'm sitting here like, okay, wait, how complex do I want to make this? So it's not, I'm thinking, everybody ought to work this out for themselves because it means whatever it means to them, not to you. I mean, it's not like my truth I'm giving. And it's not like every perspective I can even touch. I can just touch on a few, knowing there are a lot more. But if I had to give one as a gift type of thing, or if I had to what would that be? If I wanted to uplift, is that what, if I wanted to go into the dream time and bring back something for the collective, what would it be? Manifesting, perfecting. That would have to be a question. The best friend of this day is the warrior, fearlessness, questioning, intelligence. And to weave it all together, in order to use that manifestational power, we need to intelligently use our imagination. Oh man, I love this. And playfully, it's never done with stress or hardcore, I'm going to intend this, I'm going to dream. No, man, every day I feel like I've got Abraham sitting on my shoulder, piping along, this is one way to explain the very same thing that Abraham Hicks explained. It's like how to manifest, how to be the playful human we can be, to make life lighter. It isn't always going to be easy, isn't always going to be light, but how do we manifest our magic, our light, our dance, our play? And so my little nephew was a bit annoyed that after breakfast I didn't have time I had to take some time for myself. I have to set that boundary. This is not negotiable. And this time I locked the door because spent like 2 mornings or 2 days with him now, and he just takes it upon himself to come into the room and play around, and like, I'm like, no, 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 not right now. And he struggles. Obviously, he struggles now with the disappointment. As soon as we're all done with breakfast, like, yes, she's mine, and we're playing. No. So I didn't warn him ahead of time that I'm going to record now. So he has to deal with his disappointment and course and change of plans. And there's not a lot of toys here for him to play on his own. And he needs to now dive into his own dream time, his own imagination. Come up with something. Come up with something that interests you, that gives you joy. I'm very curious when I go out there now, what has he got up to? If I open my ears a little bit, I can hear some fun stuff going on there, I think. But anyway, so yeah, I could go on about the inner child now, but that's for each of us to get in touch with again. So these seals, every day there's like 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 of them, depending on whether the guide is the same. If the guide is the same, we have 1 twice, so we could say it's the same twice, so we're still having 5 or 1 double power, and 4 or 5 energies to play with, and they come around again and again and again. So we can always, it's such a fantastic teaching tool, because what was the blue monkey again? I don't have to wait 20 days to get back to that's what it stood for. It comes around here, there, and then it's like yeah, and in combination with this, in combination with that, next time the yellow warrior will remind us of the blue knight, like, because they're always linked, they always show up together. And since the yellow warrior always shows up with the red snake, and the red snake always shows up with the white wizard, and the white wizard always shows up with the whatever, like you started like and then no longer goes into can even be said in one sentence, but you want your healing, just one flash in your mind goes like, use your imagination, because your imagination links you to the warrior, links you to the wizard through the serpent, healing body links you to blue hand through the serpent, through the wizard, and you use your imagination for healing your body. Fearlessly ask the right question, use your intelligence, use your imagination, heal your inner child, it will heal your body. Da 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 da. Heal your inner child, it will heal the reflection of yourself in the mirror of life, because it will heal your inner being. And what does that mean? It will change your perspective. You're always whole. We're always whole. Yeah, when we're not whole, I love the German Heil, Heilung, Heilsein, Unheil. Heil means whole and healthy and complete. And if we're not that, it's like dis-ease, ease or dis-ease. When we're not in ease, when we're diseased, well, we gotta find our way back to ease. And the natural, the snake, the serpent is such a perfect symbol for that, attached to the white wizard. I want to make that point, that I'm not just randomly talking about the serpent. It's a really vital part of the wizard, and we're in the wizard wave spell. When you look at snake moving, that the way that body moves, like, oh my goodness, that's magical. That's ease. It's not like it's not awkward. When a snake moves awkward, they are in dis-ease most probably. Then something is not smooth, like when cats move or something. It's like, that's, other animals don't move as gracefully as cats and snakes, but they're just a symbol for that ease. And the serpent is such a symbol also in the Western world, in our civilization, for healing and medicine. The Caduceus with the 2 serpents, the Kundalini serpent, it's a symbol for wisdom. In some schools of thoughts, the wisdom symbols have been twisted and turned around to mean the opposite. So now it's suddenly an evil serpent whispering wisdom in your ear, and suddenly you make a decision because you've now suddenly had your pineal gland opened up or God knows what, and then that doesn't suit some people, and it's like, oh, that's evil. You know, you just make up your own fucking story. You know, like, no, no, no. The serpent energy is life force, life energy is the ultimate wisdom of the body. The body knows how to heal itself. We are a self-organizing, self-healing system. Super intelligent, super intelligent. And how does it go wrong when we get ill or diseased, mentally, psychologically, emotionally, wherever? You can always trace it back to situations that have happened in your own lifetime or in the lifetime of an ancestor, or even in the collective. If it's not to be found in you, it might be something like pollution. If your body reacts to pollution, and not everybody reacts the same way to pollution or whatever, then that too is a mirror, a reflection of an ill, in my mind, the Western society is quite ill. We're quite out of balance in many ways, but it will come to a head. It is already coming to a head, whatever, and eventually will course correct naturally. That is the way it works. And if a system has absolutely no chance to sustain or survive or to come back into balance, well, then it will terminate. It will self-terminate. But it's all everything is always a part of something bigger. So everything that terminates is just a part of something bigger. And the blue knight is that something bigger, represents that something bigger. We are a part of that something bigger. It is a part of us. We can never, any part of us that terminates, whether that's our body or our some whatever, it never terminates all of us, because it never terminates the whole of life. And we are the whole of life. We are the blue knight. It's just as a humanly focused piece of consciousness, fractal of consciousness, you know. I mean, you can't. How can death not be absolutely fascinating? I mean, what the heck? The way we think about death is just like determines so much. And do we have death? The white wizard transcends in the white world bridger. It is the last seal of the white wizard wave spell. Wish they're gonna get there. If I started on that right now, I'd go like, I'm going giddy inside already, like, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Letting go, new opportunities. There's always a new opportunity. The blue night, planetary night, and then the cosmic world bridger. Last day of the wave spell of the white wizard. The dream time. Dream up a new story. Feed yourself on dreams if you have to. Like, it's a medicine. Blue night is a medicine. Whose medicine is blue night? It's the white mirror. What does white mirror stand for? Reflecting, order, truth. And then dreaming, intuition, abundance. Oh, I could go on about this forever. I could be a salesperson for dreaming. Like, really, please dream. Take 5 minutes today and just daydream. I was quite shocked a few years ago when I noticed, like, wait a minute, like, just to sit down and daydream. No. If I have 5 minutes of time, I'm probably more like YouTube junkie myself, like, let's listen to something. Just to let my brain or my mind daydream. Don't do anything. Don't pick up a device. Just let it wander. Where does it go? for many adults, it goes into worry. When the mind is left to its own devices, it starts thinking and maybe worrying or bringing up thoughts that are not comfortable. And then things can come up that are not comfortable. And there's the medicine. The yellow warrior is a best friend, analog kin to the blue knight. It's needed. That fearlessness is needed. The wizard and the warrior attached to the red snake is healing, healing, healing. If we need healing, and most of us somehow need healing. And if we don't need it yet, make sure you never need it by dreaming and find a warm stone for your serpent to lie on, and in the sun, let yourself be warmed by the sun. And if the sun is too much, the stone will warm you from below. Night for sleeping and dreaming. If you wake up in the night and you can't sleep, can you lie there and just watch where does your mind go, or dream of something beautiful? You can call it fantasizing. They say fantasizing, when I'm talking sexual fantasizing, is very healthy for the mind also. Just using that imaginative, it's like muscle training, use it or lose it. And I cannot overemphasize or emphasize enough how powerful, how important, how beautiful, how wonderful that power of our imagination is. Problem solving in the mind, everything goes through the mind. Okay, now I'm repeating myself. And in the case of today, planetary is only out of 260 days. There's one day where the blue night is planetary. And it's guided by the monkey, not to playfully. Today we playfully, magically enjoy the monkey with the wizard. Two magicians in dream time, in their imagination, fearlessly looking in the mirror, creating something that will reflect them back, creating magical life. How do you create that? Oh, you have to do something today so your life tomorrow is magical. No, you find that space within right now. Right now. It's like, where's my magic right now? Where's my joy? It doesn't have to be all encompassing. It doesn't have to be like, oh, all of me is on fire. No, it's there somewhere. There's like this joy, this like, I feel good to be alive. I feel good to be alive today. I just like, yeah. I don't know. It's an aliveness thing. For me, I probably always come here and sound terribly alive. I don't always feel this alive, but doing this makes me feel incredibly alive. I go into my own imagination when I talk. Whatever comes up, comes up. It's a totally planetary night process for me. I go within a wizard, I close my eyes, I talk. It's like when I massage, I love closing my eyes. Just let the hands feel their own dance with the body. It just doesn't need to be looked at. It's just a beautiful process of manifesting something from within. And this talking here is very similar. I look inward even if my eyes are open. If I look, it doesn't even matter because I'm mentally focused somewhere else. And then it just flows. Call it dream time, call it my imagination, call it the talking, call it whatever, weaving around playfully the blue monkey, and I'm perfecting it in terms of, I don't even think of it as imperfect, even though I know some of the earlier podcasts, there's one of them I can't even listen to because like, oh no, this is not good, and they start judging myself, and I don't want that. I don't want to listen. I don't delete it either because that's what the old Tat would have done. Oh, not good. Oh, shame, delete. No, it's like if it's not good, I don't care. It's not that I don't care. Here we go again. But it's like that's part of my learning. That's part of my progress. That's part of my process. And I'm sharing my process here as much as I'm sharing maybe information or my insight into this calendar system and this synchronometer and my passion about life. Whoever listens, whatever it does to whomever, for me it's a blue planetary night process, really, really very much. In as much as the planetary dog that we met last wave spell is equally present here today, because it's all about love, nurturing. I nurture myself when I do that. I allow spirit to nurture me. I should hope, I suppose, that some of this nurturance that flows through me flows out to whoever listens. I can't control that. It's not my primary aim, but it is definitely a part of the equation. But I don't need to control that. And it's definitely a skywalking process for me also, because I never know what comes up. I never know where the stories go. I love, even if I repeat myself, it doesn't matter. I just love I love the talking. I love this exploration. I love walking, talking, dancing. To me, personally, my skywalking in this is bringing my own heaven down to earth. I bring joy into my body. For as long as I talk here, there's a lot of joy in my system. And if I can give myself the illusion, blue monkey, that I'm sharing it, the illusion that maybe someone who listens might get a little bit sparkled up, or like just some, I don't know, whatever that makes the day a little nicer, or just like it reminds you guys, whoever's listening, of your magic within yourselves and gets you in touch with that, gets all of us in touch with that. Great. But it's not a prerequisite for me to come here. For me, I come here because I love doing this. So if there were 0 likes and 0 views, I would probably still be here until I no longer feel any joy in coming here myself. It's not dependent on who or what views this. So that to me is great as well. I don't know why I went on about that now. Anyway, that's my skywalking. That's the blue night, planetary blue night. And I'm curious in the field how your blue planetary nights are. It's not any information that I need to get, but it's like we're all blue planetary nighting it today. So that's the mirror, and when I look out into the world, it's a reflection of me. So I'm gonna be monkey now and play with my nephew and have some fun. Let's see what we get up to. And I'm definitely looking forward to lunch, because it's a really delicious lunch coming today, and I made the dessert. I'm really looking forward to the dessert. Oh, I thank the universe for taste buds and the enjoyment of food. Oh, wonderful. And I'm enjoying being with my family now. I'm enjoying being on my own later on tonight. I'm looking forward to the music I get to listen to. I look forward to some travels I'm doing tomorrow. In 2 days, a good friend of mine is celebrating a big birthday, and we're going back. We're doing a kind of a dress-up party of something that we were living in our youth. We were goths in our youth. So it's going to be a gothic party in 2 days' time. I'm really curious, because in so many ways, I mean, I'm like as far removed from those days of myself as I could be, I think. But I have a few clothes. They're funny, I still fit into my clothes that fit me when I was 18. I can still wear them today. Funny. So, yeah, it'll be fun. There's a lot of fun ahead. And I'm pleased with myself for having learned like how much downtime do I need, how do I balance all the socializing with my needs for my own inner time. And I have access to my own batteries and my charger at all times. Like, even I'm aware of my charging, like I'm plugged in even while I'm social, if you know what I mean. Part of my mind is, part of my awareness, not mind, I don't know, awareness is on my power source. So even when there's gray skies, my solar panels are working. They're working for me. And then there's always a blue night to go sleep and dream and rejuvenate. Whew, if the solar panels didn't keep me going. As a different, I love this. There's solar power and there's lunar power. So like moon power, darkness power, and light power, sunlight power, 3 different kinds of power. they need to be in balance to charge our human systems, and maybe other things as well. But for me, that's a nice trinity. Trinity? Trinity. Triology? Trinity? Holy Trinity. It's a nice Holy Trinity for me to imagine those three. The power that comes from complete darkness, the power of black, the power of the absence of light. Yeah. All right. I love and leave us with that. Wish us all a beautiful day. A beautiful day. A beautiful night. Blue night, blue day. Let's go play with warriors and monkeys and skywalkers and mirrors. Aho.